Well, welcome to our Flowing Yin class. We're going to start by standing off the mat. And think of the mat as you look down at it as if it's, we'll use the metaphor of like a flowing river. And imagine if you were to go ahead and step in onto the mat, that there would be some adjustment that you would need to take. And so our practice today is about being aware. The first part of the practice is about being aware of and grounding ourselves. So just stepping on the mat and looking around, seeing where you are, what's around you, what's behind you, what's above you, feeling what's below you, and then starting at the top and moving down as far as a body scan. So starting at the top of your head and just checking in. If it helps, you can close your eyes at this point. And moving down your neck and just noticing what's going on into our shoulders, into the torso, and then down through the legs and into the ground. Feeling that sense of gravity pulling us down, but then that upward, outward pull, just lifting us up. So now we'll come to a seated position on our mat. So from here, Steve's going to do 6 verses from his Qigong practice.
These 6 verses are from the Ren Shui Qigong. So first, just bring awareness inside your body. Feel the emptiness and the spaciousness within. Now expand that awareness out, becoming one with the universe. Now draw that awareness back to the body, calm and peaceful. Now open to the universe with reverence and the utmost of respect. Now let the bright universe nurture your heart with compassion and love. Feel relaxed, free, and joyful. Qi flowing harmoniously and smoothly.
And now we'll ease into a tabletop position. Once you're in tabletop, you'll notice that your hands are on the ground and your knees are on the ground, or your feet if you're choosing to use a chair. And just lifting the back up into a cat. We call that a cat position, and then allowing the belly to drop down into cow. And when you do that, your head comes up. So moving in cat and cow several times. And then you can start to lay down onto your belly into a crocodile position. So place your hands in front, folded, and your forehead on your arms. And from here, just focus on your breathing. Notice how your belly pushes against the mat when you fill up with air and how it releases. And then just gently roll over to the back. And from here, we're moving into the second part of the class where we'll be working. The focus is on the shoulders. And so lifting your arms up and feeling the weight in your shoulders as you have your arms straight in front of you. And then just lift them out higher toward the ceiling and allowing them to come with control back toward the mat. As they come back toward the mat, you should notice your shoulder blades pushing toward the spine. And as you're lifting up, you will feel them come apart. So focus on what it feels like in the shoulders in this protraction and retraction. And then you can just drop the arms down to the side. And then take the arm, one arm, it doesn't matter which, and bring it close to the body. It's like you're threading a needle across your body. And take it all the way down that other arm, across the body and down the other arm. And you can twist if you want to push that arm even beyond the arm that's laying on the ground. And then coming back, nice and slow across the body, just rubbing, stretching that arm out long again, and then taking the other arm and pushing across, threading the needle on the other side. And then coming back. And then leaving your arms out long, because we'll do washcloth. So you can put your legs in effortless rest. And then washcloth goes where you turn your head toward the arm that's up and then push the other arm down toward the mat. And then the knees fall toward the arm that's down toward the mat. And then switching, turning toward the arm that's up, and the knees are falling the opposite way in this washcloth. And then just find some ease with this. About 3 to 5 times. Notice what's happening in the shoulders and the spine, and then now we're starting to move into the hips a little bit. So the next part, we'll move into tabletop again.
First part of the practice is what we might consider the yin part, the quiet, a little more
nurturing. Now we're going to begin the more yang part, so more active. So let's come to plank. So your feet long. Let's just take a moment in plank. Maybe push up on the mat, dome the back. Strengthen that serratus anterior muscle, the boxer muscle. And then we'll move into side plank. So I'm going to start with my left hand underneath my chest and then open up to the right, lifting the right hand high. And then we'll thread the needle. We can do all these movements, or a lot of the movements, in different planes, and this is one that we'll do. So just bring that hand high and then reach it underneath the chest, the body out to the side. If you need to drop, in this case, the left knee, go ahead and do that. As I said, this is more the yang practice, more the active than the aggressive. Now let's drop that left knee and set up for gate pose. Extend the left hand high, right hand just slowly starting to make its way down, that right leg starting to make its way down, that right arm down the right leg. Do it as an exhale. See if you can get just a little bit lower with each exhale. Lifting up. For a different sensation, press down on your right foot and take your hips to the left. Feel that change in sensation on the inside of the thigh, the adductors. Now let's drop our left hand. Reach the right hand forward into half circle. Just making a long side body now on the right side. And then we'll come back to tabletop. We'll do the other side, come into plank. Once again, push up from the mat, doming the back. Strengthening that muscle, that shoulder blade that helps us. And then we'll do thread the needle on this side. So come into side plank, right hand underneath the chest, reaching high with the left hand. And now thread the needle. Bring that left hand underneath the body and over. And then up again. And then thread the needle. And up high. Thread the needle. Now drop your right leg, or right knee. We'll come into gate on this side. So right hand high, left hand working its way down that leg, slowly releasing. Lifting high and over. At the same time, once again, for a sensation, press down now on the left foot. Right hip comes over to the side. Now let's come into half circle. So drop your right hand down to the mat. Left hand extends up and over the head. Reaching forward. Stretch along the left side body now. And then we'll come back to tabletop. Make your way into staff pose. So seated with legs long in front. Hands along your side. And we'll do maybe reverse tabletop, if you will. But since we're still on the shoulder section, let's focus on our shoulders. I mean, obviously the hip flexors and glutes are going to work, but let's just lift our tailbone, come up, but just keep your intention and focus on the shoulders. Opening, then release back down to the mat, back into staff pose, and then we'll do it again. Leading with the tailbone, lifting up, now focusing on the shoulders, thinking about the shoulders. If you want more of a stretch, you can slide your hands maybe a little bit further back, away from your hips. Open the shoulders even more. And then back down. Do one more. Lift the tailbone. And then back down. So now let's make our way to standing on the mat. And we'll do a pyramid. So step back with your right foot. Find your stance, both width and length. And now to do pyramid, we're going to do it in a flow. So grab your tiger claws, hands like claws. Bring back, wind up like you're going to launch forward, and then launch forward, straight forward, reaching out as far as you can with your claws, and then drop your claws down to the earth, just in a big motion. Now just keep the claws going, back and up and over. Now if it's comfortable, just relax your head. Now turn your tiger claws and we're going to sweep down towards the earth. Clawing towards the earth, slow and controlled. Now forward, up. When you're at the top, release your palms and just soften as we come back down. Step forward with your right foot, step back with your left. Get your stance width and length. Tiger claws, launch forward, reach forward. And then slowly move your hands down, scratching towards the earth. And just as we did in reverse tabletop, focus on those shoulders. Let those shoulders just come open. And then reverse, scoop down towards the earth. And then up. Release your hands, bring your palms back towards the body. And relax, settle and clear. Step forward with your left. Now let's rotate our shoulders. We'll keep moving with the shoulders. So bring your hands to prayer, hands to heart center. And we're going to move in a circle around the clock face. So now point your fingers forward. We're 12 o'clock. Now we'll go around. I'm going to go to the left first. So my fingers face towards 9 o'clock. So my fingers are facing left. My right shoulder is up. Left elbow down. Now turn the hands back towards the body. Hands are facing 6 o'clock. Then we'll move over to 3. My left shoulder is up. My right elbow down. And then back forward to 12. We'll go around one more time. Just slowly working around the clock face. Imagine that your hands are keeping time. In this case, time is moving backwards, counterclockwise. And then forward. When you get forward, back to 12, relax, release. We'll go the opposite direction, fingers forward. Now we'll move clockwise, so over to 3 o'clock, left shoulder up, right elbow down, back towards 6, the body. Now to 9 o'clock, and then over to 12, around one more time. Just slowly feeling those shoulders open up, the wrists. Fingers pressing palms. When you get back to heart center, just relax and release. Now let's give ourselves a really big hug. Just grab opposite shoulders. Feet are shoulder width. Now look down to between your feet. Find a point that's not moving. Come up on your toes. Now release your heels back to the mat. And then we're going to slowly lift up, lift our gaze, first to the horizon, and then up, and then just keep going. And as your head tilts back, hip points come forward, soften your knees, come into a back bend. It's the first one, so don't be too aggressive. And then we'll reverse. We'll come back, gaze back to the horizon, and now moving towards between your feet. Look down between your feet. Find a point that's not moving and then come up on your toes. And then release your heels back, down. And then slowly bring your gaze up. And then we'll tip our head up and back. Hip points forward. And then back. Bring your gaze up and then back to the horizon. Release your arms. Switch your hug. Switch, so whatever hand or arm was on top. Switch, do the other one. We'll do the same thing. So look down, slowly look down. Bring your gaze down between your feet. Come up on your toes. And then slowly lower the heels back. And we'll lift our gaze up to the horizon. And then back. Hip points forward, knees soft and bent. And then back. Slowly moving that head back down, looking at the horizon, and then moving towards the feet. Last time. Lift up on the toes, and then back down on the heels. We'll go up one more time. Find your horizon. Find the ceiling or the sky. Tip back. And then slowly bring your gaze back to the horizon. Lift your arms. Let's just lift our shoulders and just drop. Lift our shoulders. Drop. Lift. Drop. And then just relax. So let's bring our hands to this, clasping our hands, and we're going to move in just to open our shoulders some more. Bring your hands up, just along your midline, and then up to the first chakra, and then out and down. Come down towards the root chakra. And once again, up the midline, this time to the third eye, and then out and down, slow movements, slow deliberate movements, and then down to the sacral, just below the navel, and then up, finding the throat chakra, and then out, down to the solar plexus, now above the navel, and then up to the heart. Let's just take one rotation, maybe around the heart, or out. Now keeping our hands in that same bind, let's just go from side to side now. Just moving in slowly, bigger circles, just moving around the heart. The elbows just go from one side of the room to the other side of the room. Stay in line with the collarbones. Bigger circles. Hands may come to the side of the body, down to the navel, up to the collarbone. And then when you get to the side of the body, let's reverse direction. This time we'll move back towards smaller circles, coming back to the heart, returning to the heart. Slow, deliberate. Using natural breath, so just breathing in through the nose, whatever amount, whatever pace, and whatever is comfortable. We'll slowly make our way back to the heart, and then just find some stillness. Release your hands, relax your hands at the side. And we'll come to the top of the mat and just do a Sun Salutation L. So once again, there we're going to be coming back with the shoulders in a bind. But let's come to the top of the mat. Find your mountain. Raise your hands up in an upward salute. And then fold forward. And then as you fold forward, plant your hands, step your right foot back, drop your right knee. Bring your hands to the top of your left knee. And then tuck your tailbone and just slide your hips forward. You can feel a stretch of that right hip flexor. Tuck your tailbone, just slide your hips forward, opening up that hip on the right side. And now we'll rock back, so bring your hands to the mat. Maybe move towards straightening your left knee, left toes up, and we'll stretch our hamstring on the left side. If you need a block to bring the ground closer, go ahead and grab your block, or keep your knee bent as much as you need. Just try to feel that left hamstring, that left back of the thigh. And then we'll rock forward. Plant your hands. We'll bring our right foot back up. Now grab that bind behind your back. And then as we come into half lift, really open. See if you can bring your shoulder blades together, really opening up that chest. And now fall forward into forward fold, letting the hands just fall behind the head. Just releasing and relaxing. And then release the bind, swoop the hands up, sink into chair. Find your chair. And now sink just a little bit lower. And then slowly rise up into an upward salute. And then we'll do the other side. So slowly fold forward, just coming down. Now the left foot back, left knee down. We'll come into a low lunge. Hands to the top of the right knee. Once again, tuck the tailbone and see as your hips slide forward if you can feel that stretch now in the left front part of the hip, the left hip flexors. And then bring the hands to the mat. Move towards straightening that right knee. Lift your right toes. And just sink back for a hamstring stretch. Now on the right side. Back of the right thigh. Now rock forward. Plant your hands. Bring that left foot back up to match. Rolling forward. Now grab a bind behind your back with your hands. Maybe switch your grip. Switch opposite grip. Now as we lift up in the half lift, really open your chest. Shoulder blades come together. Thinking still about that length from the crown of the head back to the tailbone. Now fold forward, releasing and relaxing, letting the hands just drop. Just opening the shoulders. Now release your bind. Swoop the hands up, come into chair. Sink a little bit lower. And slowly come up. Come up into your upward salute. And then just relax. Release your arms along your side. Now we'll face back towards the side of the mat. We'll set up for Yogi squat. So find whatever distance is right for your Yogi squat, for your Buddha squat. You just sink down. Use your elbows to help open up the knees. If you need to put something underneath your heels to bring your heels up to find comfort in this, go ahead and do that. And then just relax into that. Maybe a little bit of movement's good sometimes, just a little side to side, maybe forward, backward. See if you can tuck your tailbone, lift your spine. Just find, if it's possible, ease and comfort in this. Breathing into it, relaxing. And now we'll slowly make our way back up to standing. And we'll do some wall squats. Can you cue the wall squats?
Sure.
Okay.
So in the wall squat, what you're doing, what your body is doing is you're pretending like there's a wall right in front of your nose. So just imagine there's a wall. And if it's helpful when you start, you can grab onto like going into a doorway and grabbing onto a doorway. So you have something to hold on to try and keep you close. And then you just begin at the ankles in terms of bending the ankles and bending the knees and bending the hips and just bringing the body down and just going as far as that you can, trying to keep the face on that pretend wall. And I know Steve uses his arms as a counterbalance, so you can stick those out. And then coming back up. And we're going to do 2 more. These are something that I've been working on for a while, so I've been adding one a day. And I made up to 50 a day. So it's just a really great all body exercise that you can do. So today we're doing 3. That was 2. And even thinking about how the spine kind of can curl forward as you get down to the ground. And that's what's so great about it, is because it involves the joints and the spine. And that was the 3rd one. You didn't have to do 2.
When you first start, they're like, this is highly annoying. But as you build strength and flexibility, they're not too bad. Yeah, you kind of enjoy them almost, if that can be possible. So now let's do something from Qigong called Green Dragon Presents Claws. So step your feet on the long part of the mat. Step your feet wider than shoulder width. And now we're going to imagine that, once again, we've got our claws out, only now we're a green dragon and not a tiger. So I'm going to shift my weight to the left with my claws. And then I'm going to go to the right. So I'm going to take my left hand high, my right hand low, looking back to the right. So I don't know, this is a nice stretch as you look back and down. So now let's settle back. Now we'll sink back with our claws. My weight is on the right. But I'm going to launch to the left. Right hand up, left hand back. And see if you can bring your arms maybe to where they're a consistent line of energy. And then I'm going to sink left. And then launch right. Climb. Now, weight on the right. Launch left. Weight is left. I'm going to go right. You can see if you can sink lower each time in the hips. To the right and then left. Do one more. Sink and launch. And then come back. Just relax. Heel toe your feet back to standing. And let's make our way back to the mat. And we'll set up for the final part of our hip movement by coming to 290 degrees. So bring your hips and legs out to 90 degrees. So I'm going to have my left leg out in front first, my right leg to the side. And then I'm going to see if I can bring my sit bone, my left sit bone, further away from my right knee. So I'm going to hold my right knee and bring my left sit bone over, just kind of increasing that distance. And now I'm going to fall forward, turning my body, tucking my tailbone, just slowly falling forward. I say falling. Maybe just a controlled release down. Keeping that tailbone back. Keeping the tailbone back. So our back is in an arch. If you remember, arch and flatten. And then slowly release down. And then once you're down, we'll come back up. Once again, really controlled, really noticing the sensations in that left hip. And then as we come back up, we'll do a twist. Left hand behind the left thigh, right hand behind the right heel, and just look to the right, just gently twisting. And then we'll switch and do the other side. If you want to bring your hands up front, at least I need to, for balance. And then lift the knees, roll to the other side. You'll end up close. Go ahead and do your final adjustments. So, 90 degrees. See if you can bring both to 90 degrees. Now my right leg is in front. I'm going to take my left, hold my left knee, bring my right sit bone over more towards the right. Just increasing that. Or maybe just relaxing the hip down. And then we'll slowly fold forward. Tailbone back, arch in the back. Just slowly go down now. The chest and the hips, if you can, are now facing towards that right knee. And just slowly lowering, slowly coming down. For some, this is easy. For others, with hip, maybe not the hip flexibility that they like, this is challenging enough. It's actually a nice way, and then slowly come up. It's a nice way to approach some of the same muscles that we do, some of the same ligaments and tendons that we do when we do pigeon, but without some of the other stresses on the knee. So now let's maybe just come to our back, and we'll set up for figure 4. Bring the heel to the top of the thigh. And then maybe just some eccentric stretching, some resistance stretching. So we'll imagine that knee that's with the leg that's bent and folded is pushing away from the body, and we'll pull that knee back towards the body, resisting that pulling back at the same time. Release, we'll do it again. So that knee pushing away, at the same time we're using our hand and our arm to pull it back towards the body. And then release. Resist that movement of the knee back towards the body with the muscles of the leg. And then we can reverse that. Now, the pushing away from that knee. And now we'll twist to the side, so bring your arms out either to cactus or wide. And just let your hips fall in one direction. We'll do both directions. So just pick a side and let your hips gently fall to the side. Sometimes it's helpful to make little adjustments, whether it's your hip or your shoulders or your legs, just to help you try to seek to find maybe a little more release, an area that maybe needs some relaxation. And then we'll come back up, bring your hips back to center, and then let them fall in the opposite direction. If it's comfortable, you can look in the opposite direction that you let your hips fall. Shoulder blades hopefully soft into the mat. Take those little movements, take those little adjustments just to bring greater ease or comfort or just do what your body needs this morning and today. And then we'll come back to center, we'll switch sides. Bring that ankle to the top, front of the thigh, and then once again, as the knee pushes away, we'll use the hands to bring it towards the body, resisting that movement. And now you can revert or switch that, and now the knee is contracting towards the body, and we use the hands to push it away. Opening the hip up. Now, still in that figure 4 bind, we'll twist to the side. So, once again, arms to a T or cactus. And again, just let your hips fall to the side, shoulder blades soft, still at the mat. And then we'll bring our hips back to center. Let them fall to the other side. You're using the opposite direction of the direction you let your hips fall. And then slowly bring your hips back to neutral, back to center. Release your bind, release your grip. Let's just roll our ankles, just roll them in both directions. And then you can bring the knees to your chest, do happy baby. Just kind of, because we're going to transition into Savasana, so just do whatever it feels like. Your hips, your back, maybe soles of the feet to the mat, maybe an effort of the breast, maybe a little bit of cat and cow, arch and flatten. All those same spinal movements, just in different planes.
As you ease down to Shavasana, you're welcome to bring a blanket to help you relax, or a pillow. And we'll start at the top of the head and do another body scan like we did when we were starting. We were standing up at the beginning, and we were just starting from the top of our head and doing an internal scan, noticing what's happening in the body, in the head and in the neck, in the shoulders and the arms, down to the hands, in the torso, through the pelvis, into the legs, and the ankles and the feet. And release. I'll be quiet for a bit, and then we'll complete the practice with a breathing exercise and a meditation. You can start to find movement in your toes and your fingers. And then just allowing your arms to come up, and you can stretch between your toes and your fingers. How long can you go? And then curling onto the side into a fetal position and resting there for a few breaths. And then gently pushing yourself up into a position that will work for breathing and meditation. The meditation that we'll be doing today is, the breathing exercise that we're going to do now is called core breathing. And first, all we have to do is find our regular breathing into the belly. So let's do that first. Placing your hand on your belly and just noticing when you breathe in, your belly comes out. And then it releases. And then with core breathing, the only difference is when you breathe out, you actually tighten the lower core muscles, almost as if you were trying to fit into a tight pair of pants. And then release when you get a full belly full of air. And then just tighten as you release your breath. Try that. Full belly. Tighten the internal core muscles. And just play around with it for a couple more breaths. Then we'll do a heart meditation led by Steve.
So this is the Kaishan verse, once again, from Ren Shui Qigong. So heaven, earth, and human are all teachers with infinite wisdom. I open my heart gates to trust and love them unconditionally. With gratitude in my heart, I receive the bright light of their love and wisdom and unify with it. My mind, consciousness, and heart are fully aligned with the light of the Tao. With reverence, respect, and awe, realization and wisdom are arising. I am one with the light of the wisdom of the universe. So now let's just rub our hands together as we close our practice. Bring some heat, some prana, some chi to our hands. And bring your thumbs to your third eye. May we think more clearly into our lips, or our chin, or our throat. May we communicate more clearly. And then to our heart, so we may truly feel more clearly. Release your hands. Gently open your eyes. And then from deep inside, say something positive to yourself. You're healthy, and your chi, prana, and energy are bright. Thanks for practice. Hope you have a really good day.